all, guys.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. I did see some progress on your website. That's good. I do need to give you another suggestion on the contact section. So
Yes, I know. I'm
okay.
still working on that one.
Okay. No, it's a matter of a plugin. So
Right.
I'll share that plugin with you, and you just need to activate it. And then instead of them emailing it to you, they can just fill out the form, and it would go into your email. So
Right. I was
because if
actually
you
looking for one of those.
yeah, I think it's called contacts. If you go into the plugin and just click contact form, you'll find it. Yeah, and just create your contact form, and then embed the code onto that page, that contact us page, or wherever you have put like email. Yeah, just put the code there, and it will show up like a form.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
exactly
all.
what I was looking for. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, just go in the plugin section.
Got it.
All right, awesome. Good job. Anybody else? Anybody else? Kenda? Kenda? Any wins this week? Leon, any wins this week? Marlene, any wins this week?
Sorry, I boxed.
I have.
my hair.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, Kenda, go ahead.
No, I was saying I couldn't get to the phone because I'm trying to box braid my hair for the very first time ever. Listening, but my hands are occupied.
Okay. All right. What, Marlene?
I have a couple of wins. This week, just more getting trained and connecting with my branding coach that I had before.
Hey.
So I joined a business boutique academy, which is helping me, and they put a challenge there for we to get scrappy and make $100 this week. So we're getting scrappy. So I put together my vision board course, which I have some interest in. So that's going well. And yesterday I had a group of women that joined me on Zoom for a session, and they really like it. So, and I'm having more interest. So I'm putting myself out there, trying to learn more technology to make myself more versatile. So I like that, trying to figure out between calendar you told the last time. So I'm trying to do a little bit more. Yeah, to see which one works for me with what I'm trying to do. So just pray for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm moving forward and doing things to get scrappy and move forward and make money in this business.
Okay. Awesome. Good job. That's my cousin, everybody. All right. Jamal, any wins this week?
Just still selling these customized mats.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. How's that going?
Oh, it's going well.
Yeah,
it's going well. There's another 100 orders this week.
Oh, nice.
Nice. It's a nice little business practice.
Of course. Of course. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good job. Sharon? Any wins this week? Sharon? Leon?
Yeah. Hey, Rose.
Hey.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, my the designer, she actually sent the concept to the person who's supposed to send me the sample. So in another week, I should have the sample back of one of the jackets that I created. So that's a win for me.
Awesome. Good job. Good job. You've been working on that, and I'm glad that is progressing and you haven't stopped, because many people would have gotten to that hard part and they'd be like, this is too much, and they would have just quit by now. But you're keeping it pushing. That's good.
Learning a lot.
I know. I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's a process. And thanks, Rose. You've been instrumental in kind of helping, stay focused and all of that. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else before we continue? All right. Let's continue. All right. Anyone have any announcements, upcoming events this week or for the month and so forth? Okay, so I don't have any. I don't have any as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the presentation. I know you guys been waiting on that. Give me a second. Malik, you still have your hands up. You have something to say?
Oh, my bad. I forgot to put it down. but also, if anybody needs online coaching, anything, just reach out to me because you belong to the group. I'm offering 10% off for anyone who's a part of this mastermind group. So if you need online coaching, fitness, nutrition, whatever it is, I'll be more than happy to accommodate you. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No problem.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody else have any promotion for the group? That's nice. Thank you, Malik. You should post that in the chat, Telegram chat.
I'll be sure to do that.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we all know we are here for business credit. Oh, well, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Rose Lord Lewis, AKA Your Credit Goddess, CEO of Budget Credit 360. I've been in the business since 2016. I've helped thousands of families, friends, prospects, clients, build positive credit. I know a couple of them are in here already. I know Leon, Marlene, who else? I know Kenda already nominated me as her financial coach for any of her clients. So you guys got first taste of my knowledge of credit. I've also expanded out to business credit, and this is for the past 2 years. I've personally built my own credit. I have a business credit line of $80,000, and I have personal credit of $100,000. I can definitely teach you guys the ropes of how to build that credit line, because it's all a matter of showing that on your credit of your ability to pay back of what you borrowed. And credit at the end of the day is trust. If you can build that trust with the bank, you have access to capital, any amount of capital that you want, but you just have to be able to show that. Okay, so it's not only about borrowing, but also having good money management. Now, when you're trying to build business credit is solely for your business. Of course, it's business credit. You got personal credit, you got business credit. Personal credit is, of course, is under your name. Business credit is under your business name. Now, when you're building business credit, you're building business credit just like you're building personal credit. How many of you guys have good personal credit? Don't be shy. You can put your hands up. How many of you guys have good personal credit? You can put a 1 in the chat. If you have good personal credit, press 1. If you have 2, if you're not so good credit, press 2. Don't be shy, because I'm going to teach you guys what's the breakdown of credit, and then that way you guys can go ahead and apply that personally in your personal credit, and that way you'll know how in your business credit. And a lot of us don't understand the breakdown of credit. You know what? Hold on. Because I'm a visual person, and I have to show you guys something. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Let me go and grab my my iPad for my nephew, because that was the whole reason I had him use my iPad, so he can get his work done. But let me grab it for you guys, because I gotta illustrate you guys something real quick. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna need my iPad. Okay. I'll give it back when I'm done. Come on, come on. All right, hold on, you guys, hold on. Let me get. Okay, give me a second. Gotta log into Zoom. I know, feedback. Hold on. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. All right, I'm gonna show you guys something. Briefly, I wanna show you guys what makes up your personal score. To kind of understand personal credit, I like to use the analogy like personal credit is like your financial resume, your report card, right? Hey, Javon. Okay, so to kind of understand what credit is trust, and lenders creditors use your credit score and your credit report to determine your credit worthiness. The main credit scoring model that lenders use are the FICO score, which is the Fair Isaac Corporation. It was Fair, and it was a mathematician and an engineer, Fair and Isaac, that came up with this algorithm to come up with how to determine your credit worthiness to lenders. Because if you actually look at your credit report, it's a long rap sheet, of your past, good or bad, and it's very long. And if you actually look at it, it will make your eyes just go crisscross, because there's so much data in it, from like your payment history down to everything, your personal information, inquiries, and things like that. So if a lender wants to determine what type of borrower you are, to have to go through every line by line on a credit report, and then having to figure out and to see if you're a good borrower or not, that's too much. So they came up with the number, the credit score. Now there's over 49 different credit scores. I always tell my clients, don't drive yourself crazy over credit scores. There is no such thing. If you were to ask me, there's no such thing. That's the reason why I say, you know, let me know. Don't be shy of your credit score, because it's really no credit score. What it is just the 3-digit number just determines what type of data you have on your credit report. So just like going to school, to have a perfect 4.0 or even higher, you know, if you've taken extra classes, extra credit, to have a perfect 4.0, you need an A+ all across the board, like all the way down for every single class that you've attended. So it's the amount of classes that you have taken, plus, you know, I think it's multiplying by the total number of classes multiplying by your grade point at, or your grades towards that, or dividing into something, whatever formula it is to come up with this number. It's the same thing when it comes to your credit report. So your credit scores are calculated with 5 categories when it comes to FICO. Credit Karma, lenders don't use that because it's a totally different scoring model. Those are the Vantage score. It scores differently. It don't even count your medical bills. So that's why you may find Credit Karma higher than your FICO score. So FICO, what they do is calculate everything that's on your credit report and then divide it. So the 5 things that they calculate, the number 1 is 35%. It makes up 193 points. That's your payment history. So your on-time payments fall under that, including your late payments, including any collection accounts, anything that is repo, bankruptcy, child support, anything that falls under that, it falls under this 35%. So if you're hiring a credit repair company or you're fixing your own credit, you're only touching that 35%. All the other categories, that's your doing. Your doing is debt and available credit. That makes up 165 points. If none of you have a credit card, you're actually missing out on 165 points, because that category alone calculates how much credit you have left. So if you don't have no credit card, there is nothing being calculated there. And a lot of people think that they have bad credit because they don't have a credit card, or they think that they have good credit because they don't have a credit card. But believe it or not, bad credit and no credit, they're considered the same. You know, so you want to have a credit card so that way you're scored on how much credit you've used. And a lot of people shy away from credit cards because they say, oh, well, I don't want to get into debt. Well, credit doesn't get you into debt. You put yourself in debt. You put yourself in debt. So in order for you to manage your credit responsibly, use what you can actually afford to pay back. Don't accumulate so much debt to the point where, you know, you're being hit with interest. And if you're late because you couldn't pay, you're being hit with late fees, and then it pushes you further and further behind. So you don't want to borrow irresponsibly. It's just like borrowing money from your friends or your family, right? And you told them that you're going to pay them back at a certain date, Friday, let's say. Hey, Joe, I'm getting paid this coming Friday. I make sure, can I borrow $500? I'll pay you back on Friday. Friday come around and you don't even have the money. So what happens? You have to call that friend or family that you borrowed the money from and say, hey, listen, I was short, but this is how much I can give you right now. And I'll promise I'll pay the other half, you know, and schedule a time. A lot of us tend to run away from our responsibilities, and that is what puts us in a position of bad credit. So if you're wondering what bad credit is just, you know, the trust factor and the fact that poor money management will put you in that position as well. Or life happens, loss of job, you know, you got sick, you've been in a car accident, or whatever the case is, life happens. So if that ever happened to you, it's always good to communicate. Communication is key. And believe it or not, creditors will work with you if you're not able to make your payments on time. They have programs for that. And now if it has gone too far, then you may have to liquidate that account. Okay. So it's all a matter of just making that call to your lender and working something out before it goes into, you know, the status of late. And anyone that's asking, when is it late? It's not late when you miss the date of the due date. It's actually late if you're 30 days late from that last due date that you didn't make that payment. because the billing cycle closed. And if the billing cycle closed with you not making a payment from the last payment, that's when it gets reported, and that's when the bureau see it, and that's when they calculate. So you have a new score every 30 days. It's not every single day, it's every 30 days, or depending on when your billing cycle closes and reports. So if you have 18 accounts, 18 credit cards like myself, I have 18 payments being recorded every single month. So the more accounts you have, the better. A lot of people say don't have too many credit cards because I'm not sure what the reason is, but the more accounts that you have, the more diversified you are. And that actually calculates on the types of credit, which makes up 55 points. To actually get 55 points in that category, you have to have 21 accounts. 21. So a lot of people will find themselves lingering at the high 700s or the 800s and haven't hit the 850 only because they haven't acquired additional accounts. Every account counts for 2 or 3 points. So if you want to actually accumulate and maximize that category of 55 points, you need 21 accounts. Not active, it can be some closed accounts that are good standing. It can be some open accounts, but you need 21 of them, right? So that makes up the 55 points. You also have the length of credit history, which makes up 83 points. 83 points is how long you have credit. So if you have not built any type of credit, you're not going to maximize that category. A lot of us do have credit. If you have student loans and it's been open for quite some time, you have maximized that category. Now, I get clients that say, I want student loans off my credit for whatever reason. If I look at it and it's in good standing, I'm not touching it, because if you were to remove the student loans, then you remove the history and then you lose points. So be careful who you go to when you think that if you were to remove an account that it will help your credit, and it's not, okay? So 83 points is the length of history. To actually accumulate that 83 points, you need 9 years of history, 9. So if many of you guys have not started building on credit, you need to, because the sooner you start, the sooner you start building some type of history. So 83 points come gradually, it doesn't come automatic, all right? And then the last is frequency of credit, that's 55 points. So the less inquiries you have, the more points you'll gain. So that category calculates how many inquiries that you have. So if you have a new account, you lose a point. If you have no new inquiry, you gain that point. So to get the full 55, you have to have no inquiries. So what that means, you need to start establishing credit as fast as you can, as soon as you can. So 2 years down the line, because inquiries only stay on for 2 years. So 2 years down the line, you'll have 0 and you'll gain your 55 points. All right. So this is what makes up your personal credit. If we were to calculate all of this, this makes up a perfect 850 credit score. That is 100% on-time payments, no collection accounts, none, zip, 0, not even a late payment, 100% on-time payments. 1 to 7% utilization of their credit cards, not max, because if you max, you lose points. You can lose up to 165 points. So you want to make sure that you're at 1 to 7% utilization. History, you want to make sure that you have at least 5 years of history minimum to kind of maximize the length of history. You want to have up to 21 accounts or more if you want to maximize that at that 55 points. And then you want to make sure that you have 0 inquiries to maximize that 50 points there. So that makes up a perfect 850 credit score. What makes the grade? As I mentioned to you guys, what makes the grade as far as like your personal credit? 850 to 760 is an A++. That's excellent credit. If you have a 759 to 700, that's an A. 699 to 660 is a B. 659 to 620 is a C. 619 to 580 is a D. 579 and below is an F. So wherever you fall under this, you want to make sure that you are building up your credibility. Your credibility, again, like I said, is your trust. You are credit. You are. So it doesn't matter if you come with a pearly white and dressed in all black, or dressing all white with some fancy shoes and driving a bomb car. It doesn't matter. Rich people can't even get good credit. So you have to build up to that. So that is personal credit. The reason why I'm mentioning personal credit is because when you're establishing business credit, in most cases, you will have to provide your personal credit. The reason why is because if you're just establishing your business and you have not established any credit and you're trying to apply for those major credit cards like Chase, Inc., the different types of American Expresses, Citi, and those type of cards for business, which is corporate credit. If you haven't established enough credit with your business, you will have to co-sign, which is meaning personal guarantee that business credit. When I started, I did have to personal guarantee a couple of my business credit card. I have 4 American Express business cards and 1 Chase. So I did have to front my personal credit for that. And now I don't recommend that for anyone. Take the time to build your business credit, because if anything fails like within your business and you personal guarantee it, then you will be responsible for it. Now, the reason why you want to build business credit under your EIN, not tied to your social, because if anything fail within your business, you're not personally liable for it. Your business, it was solely tied to your business. That's the reason. That's the difference between personal guarantee and building it under your EIN. Well, within your Duns and Brad. So you need to build that up. All right. Also, this is a very vital part of understanding what you're financing, whether you're borrowing a loan, whether you're paying on credit cards. I want you guys to understand the interest rates that you're given, and the interest rates are given based on your credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate. The lower the credit score, the higher the interest rate. A lot of us tend to focus on the end goal, which is to get approved, but anybody can get approved. There's so many different loan products and so many different credit products for any type of borrower. You got subprime lenders, you got subprime creditors. Subprime meaning that they lend to people with bad credit. So anybody can get approved. It's just a matter of who you go to and what type of product that they have available for the different types of clientele. So let's scratch the fact that you want to just get approved. Let's scratch that. The when you get approved, it's all a matter of what interest rate you are given. That part is the most vital part, is what interest rate you are given when you are approved. My third car that I purchased with no money down, and I got a 3% interest rate. My first 2 cars, my first car was 19.99% on a $15,000 loan. So by the end of the loan in 5 years, I would have paid for that car for $25,000. And then my second car I bought for like $8,000, and that interest rate was 28% because the first car got repoed, and then my second car 28%, and that was a 3-year term, 36 months, and I paid $16,000 for that car. After everything is done, my payment was like $3 something a month. So in 3 years, I paid $16,000 for that car. So I almost paid double. I paid double for the car. And it's, at the end of the day, it's all about the interest rate. So I want to do this quick exercise before I move on to business credit. I want you guys to understand how interest rates are calculated. I'm not sure how many of you guys understand. By a show of hand, you guys can put your hands up. How many of you guys know how to calculate interest? Let's not all speak at once. Show of hands, or press 1. Press 1 if you know how to calculate interest. Press 2 if you don't. Okay, anybody else? Are you guys there? Hello? Okay. All right, good. Okay. All right, I just want to know, because I don't know if I should continue on. It's been years. Okay. Oh, you use a software. Okay. Many people use a software. But I'm gonna show you this formula, and then that way you can take a screenshot of this formula And I know you use the software. You know how in math, they always say, show your work. I was really good at math. So when they say show your work, I showed it using the software, and it's exact. I think it's the amortization table. You may be using the calculator and it shows you the amortization table. Yeah. So this formula I'm about to show you is the formula to calculate the interest of what you're paying over time. So if you want to learn this, come up with some numbers and then turn around and use the software, you'll see that the numbers come out the same. Okay. So I can say Javon is person A, and let's say Jamal is person B. Javon has a credit score of 730, while Jamal has a credit score of 599. They're both wanting to purchase this $23,000 car, brand new Toyota Camry, and they both were given a term of 5.5-year term. Interest rate that Javon was given was 1.99%, and the interest rate that Jamal was given was 14.99%. Javon's payment is $368.22, while Jamal's payment for that same car is $513.97. Now, what's happening here is the interest rates that was given. So the formula for this to calculate the interest, you take the purchase price of the vehicle and you multiply that by the interest rate, which is going to equal the APR, which is the annual percentage rate. You take the APR and you're going to divide that into 12, because we want to find out what the monthly interest is for that month. Then we're going to take the monthly interest for that month. We're going to subtract it from the monthly payment, and that's going to determine how much of that monthly payment will go towards the principal. Okay, so if any of you guys ever looked at your statement and you see the breakdown of how much is going towards the interest and how much is going towards the principal, and you're like, what is that? What's going on? This is what's going on, is your interest payment. You're being charged interest on the total balance that you have left on the loan, or credit cards, or student loans, or whatever you're borrowing. You're being charged interest every single month on the balance that's left. So your goal is to try to tackle that principal balance as much as you can. The monthly payments that you're given a month is your minimum payment. So you can make more, but you want to position yourself where you get the lowest interest and then you pay more. Because if you were comfortable paying $513, you might as well just go ahead and work on getting your credit, better, so you can get the better interest rate and still make the $513 payment and be done with the loan sooner. Okay, so let's do the math. If anybody has a calculator, or I can go ahead and calculate, let's do 23,000, multiply that by 1.99%. Anybody got a calculator? Go ahead and put that in the chat. So 23,000, multiply that by 1.99%. What do you have? There you go, Sharon. Okay, yes, 457.70. That's the APR. Let's divide that into 12 and tell me what you have. Okay, 38.14. Okay, so let's do 368.22. Subtract the 38.14 from it. $368.22, which is the monthly payment. Let's subtract 38.14 from it. $330.08. Okay, so $330 is going towards the principal balance, and $38 is going to the bank. Okay, so Javon's payment every month, he is making $368.22. $38 of it is going to the bank, and $330 is going to the principal balance. So next month he'll be paying 1.99% on the remaining balance of $22,000 and change. Okay, $22,600 and change. Okay, so now let's look at Jamal's. Jamal's payment is $513. So what we're going to do is do 23,000, multiply that by 14.99%. What do you have? $3,447. $3,447.70 is the APR for the year. Let's divide that into 12. $287.31. $287.31. Let's subtract that from $513.97. $226.66. Okay, so $226.66 is going towards the principal balance. $287 of that $513 payment is going towards the bank. Is going to the bank. The lender is getting $287.31 out of that $513 payment and 97 cents. And $226 is going towards the principal balance. So next month, Jamal is going to be paying 14% on $22,800 and change. That's how much he has left. So that is what you're paying. So overall, Javon only paid $1,302.39 in the 5.5 years of interest on that $23,000 loan. And $24,000, so he bought that car for $24,302, while Jamal paid $10,921.44 in interest for that car. So in total, he bought that car for $33,921.44. So that's a $9,600 difference that Jamal is paying just because of his credit and the interest rate that he was given. That $9,600 can go towards a much needed vacation. It can go towards starting a new business. That could have went towards a down payment of a home. That could have went towards daycare. That could have went towards anything. Okay, so same person, same thing with the house. Same thing with the house. Same thing with paying off a credit card. If you ever look at the amortization table when they say if you make the minimum payment on your credit cards, how much you're going to end up paying overall. So the goal is to try to tackle that principal balance as much as possible every single month. If you can make 2-3 payments and start dumping some money into it so that way you can bring down that principal balance, you save a lot in interest overall. So I mentioned all of this because knowing this, you apply the same thing to business credit, but business credit, they don't really calculate this. They don't, this is not the algorithm when it comes to business credit. The only algorithm on business credit, they score you based on when you make your payment. They score you based on how soon or how early you make your payment. If you make your payment on time, like on the due date, and if you're late. There's 3 things. If you pay it early, if you pay it on time, or if you pay it late. That is how they score you. So 100% is someone that pays their obligation early. Okay, so the statement comes out on the 5th. Their payment is due on the 30th, and they made their payment on the 5th. They made their payment on the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th, or 10th. But the closer you are to the due date, you're being scored on that. So you want to make sure that you are paying your bills as soon as it comes, because now they're a little bit more. There's a little bit more scrutiny on the business, because obviously you have a business, and if you have a business and you're in business, you're making money. You're making way more money than someone that like someone that's working a 9 to 5, because 9 to 5 you're limited. You're limited by the hourly pay. You're limited by your salary. But when you're a business, there is no cap to that. You work the business. You work the business by marketing yourself, getting yourself to more people out there in the audience. So you have an opportunity to reach the masses and make a strong, just a large sum amount of money. So there's no caps when it comes to that. So that's why they want to see like collateral. They want to see capital. They want to see your credit. They want to see those things to determine how much credit that they're going to extend out to you. So that plays a role of that. So with business credit is not with this whole calculation, is more on when you make your payment. So the moment that you're late, you might as well just throw the whole business away. You don't ever want to be late, because that's the only thing they score you on, is when you make your payment. So don't ever, 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 ever be late on your credit card bills, on your loans, or anything like that. You're being scored on solely that. So when it comes to business credit, and why when you start a business, they ask you to put a business plan together. The reason why you want to put a business plan together, because if you have no plan, you plan to fail. So you need to know how to allocate your money. You need to know what you're going to use it for, and whatever you're going to use it for is going to turn around in return, get you the results that you're looking for. Because you don't want to just market aimlessly and you don't know which direction is going. You don't know if whatever you're planning is actually going to lead you to that direction. You don't want to play business when it comes to this. You actually want to know exactly what you need to do, which is why you need to do a SWOT analysis of your area or whatever you're in. You need to know the strengths and weaknesses of the business. You need to know the opportunity, and you need to know your target. You need to know who you're targeting, and you need to know that who you're targeting needs the service. So those things you need to know when you're starting a business. You don't want to just start a business just because you want to make money. That is the goal, of course, but you need to know everything in between. Because when you start planning, and then when you're ready to start marketing, you need to know that it's going to result to whatever goal that you're looking for. Okay, so you need to know who you're targeting. So don't spend money and then not know that you're going to get the money back. Okay, so that's all to that. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes here. Hold on. Okay, so when you're starting a business, oh, hold on. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so when you're starting a business, you want to make sure that your business is all the way established, like all the way established, all the way. And what I mean by that is like you're birthing a baby. I don't know if you guys ever heard this term when they say your business is your baby. You're birthing it. So a lot of people will start a business and they want fast results. They want to make that money quick. Just know that Rome wasn't built overnight. We already know that. And your business is not built overnight too. It all depends on what product that you have. Like you got Malik, he's a certified personal trainer. He can get clientele just like that. But if you're offering a services, you always have to provide some type of testimonial or something to show proof that you can provide whatever that you're asking them to pay for. When you got products, it's easy to sell. Services, different. You know, they want to see results. They want to see testimonials. They want to see how it's going to work for them. So it's more like on a consultation basis that you have to provide when you're providing services. So totally different. Some businesses you can just hit the ball running and you're making money just like that. And it doesn't even have any much of an overhead that you need and things like that. So when you're starting a business, you want to make sure that it's all the way set up. And when I mean all the way set up is that it has its own, and you guys can write this down. You need to make sure that you have your business set up with the SOS, the Secretary of State. You want to make sure that you get your LLC, and there's different types of LLCs. Colette talked about it last week on business tax. Now, the different types of businesses all depends on the tax status. So a lot of people would choose the wrong status and then end up having to cost them more money in the end of the day when they have to file their taxes. So you want to make sure that you choose the right status, tax status. And then with the Secretary of State, you'll have to mention what type of business that it is. Is it an LLC? Is it an S Corp? Is it a C Corp? Is it a partnership? You need to know those things. Once you've established that, which is like coming up with a name for your baby. Okay, so what's the baby's name and what's the status? So you need to come up with that. Then you need to assign that baby with a social. So you know how we have a personal social. So same thing when it comes to your business. The EIN is the social for the business. Okay. So you want to make sure that you have an EIN established for your business. That's the second thing. Okay. So now next, where does that baby live? That baby need an address. How can you get to this baby? So you need an address, which means you need a brick and mortar. You need to have an address to that business. So you can apply for a virtual office. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of Regis, but you can apply for Regis. There's Da Vinci. There is a couple of others. There's some private ones that you can search for. But Regis, I have an office with Regis. Now you can have a resident office, meaning that you can have a whole office for your business where you can actually go in and you have your own desk, you have phone, people can come and visit you and see you and consult with you. You can consult with them there. That's a resident office. Then they do give working space. If you can't afford the office, then you can get a working space. So working space, they give you a couple of hours in the month where you can meet with your clients, so you can schedule around that time. So if you say you have 12 hours out of the month to use within your monthly package, then you can schedule your meetings around that time. You can schedule, you can book or block out a time where clients can come and meet you at, different time blocks, 15 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, and then meet you at the office there. There's like a dedicated space. Oh, hold on one second. Yes, so you can have them meet you there. It's a good look when people come and meet you at an office space. That lets them know that you are serious about your business, and that lets lenders and creditors know that you're serious about your business too. Having a home address, you don't want to have a home address to that, because one, when creditors are searching for you to see if you're legitimately in business and is getting routed to a home address, is not a good look. Some creditors won't, give you credit based on that, because it doesn't show that you're in business. It makes it seem as though it's a hobby, because if you're really, really serious about your business, you would have that address. Second, you want to have a phone number. How you going to call this baby? You're going to call this baby with a phone number. So you need to have a 1-800 number. 1-800 number works best, especially when they're calling in. If they're calling into a 1-800 number and they hear this automated service, I have an automated service. If you guys call my line, it'll say, hey, welcome to Budget Credit 360, where you learn, save, or grow. Please listen to the menu options, blah, 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 choose one for this, that. It makes it seem as though you are a large corporation, even though it's just you. It's me and my assistant. But when you call my automated line, it makes it seem as though it's a big, like corporation with different departments and things like that. That lets them know that you're in business. You can set that up for your business as well. What I use is line 2. So you guys can check that up. Call notes. Yes. What I use is line 2. So line 2, you can get line 2 for like $15 a month. And it also comes with like an automated, it can also come with an automated attendant, where you can assign the numbers on the call, like to a department. You can say press 0 for customer service, press 9 to hear the directions to the business, press 1 to reach roles, press 2 to reach, billing and things like that. And that way, that also helps you stay organized within your business too. If somebody's calling for billing, you know that, okay, let me check line 2 and see if anybody has some billing questions or issues with billing. And then that way you'll know like what day that you're going to focus on billing that day, or what day you're going to focus on customer service, what day you're going to focus on leads. So having line 2 is awesome. Okay, so next, what you want to make sure you have that you have a fax number, because if they have to send important documentations, creditors and lenders like to send fax. So you want to make sure that you have a fax number available. And line 2 also have fax available. So if you want to look into that, I think if you want to add fax, it'll be an additional $10. So you'll be paying like $23 a month for a 1-800 number, a fax line, an auto attendant, yeah, that's about it. So you can get that for $23 a month. Next, you want to make sure that you are listed on 411. You want to make sure that you're listed on 411. 411 is pretty much a directory. You know, you still have some people that use 411, so you want to make sure that you're listed there. Yes. Oh, I'm reading your message, Sharon. Thank you. Oh, you're writing notes. Okay, great. Thanks, Sharon. Okay, so yeah, so make sure that you're listed on 411 in every directory there is. I'm going to get you that information where you can be listed on multiple directories at a time. But I'll share that with you guys. So make sure that you're listed on 411. Next, you want to make sure that you have a website. You need to have a website, web presence, all of that. When lenders are checking for you, they look there. They look for your website. They want to see if you're actually in business. Because again, people that are seriously in business or mean business, they have a website. You know, not having a website, it doesn't say much. So have one of those. Have one of those websites. Also, social media. Believe it or not, they check social media. So make sure that you're on Facebook. Make sure that you're on Instagram. Make sure that you're on LinkedIn. Make sure all of those things that you're on, that they can find you. That lets them know that you're in business. Again, people that are just a hobby, not serious about it, they don't have those things set up. So they use that as a measure to know that you're all the way set up. Okay. Next, you want to make sure that in the field that you're in, that you are licensed. That if you need a city license, if you need a city license for whatever industry that you're in, whether it's personal fitness, whether it's taxes, you want to make sure that you have a business license within your business. You want to make sure of that. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you need to actually formulate your business. So next, after that, after you formed your whole business, oh, I'm sorry. You guys don't see the screen. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so forming your business, you need to make sure that your company, your entity, that's separate from you personally. Like I mentioned already, that you want to make sure that your personal and your business are separate. If you are not all the way set up, and say like you fill out an application, when they ask you for your personal or your social, is because your business is not all the way set up. So all those things that I told you to make sure that you have, is just so that they don't ask for your personal. And if they do have that on the application, you don't have to fill that in if you're confident that your business is all the way set up. Okay. Now, I know some of you guys are in real estate. When you're creating a business, try to create a name that is neutral. For example, like Legacy Management. I know you guys can see the screen. You guys can read with me. Instead of Legacy Real Estate LLC, with the former, you have a company name that is neutral. This makes it easier when your application goes through underwriting process. A lot of banks shy away from certain industries, including real estate. Like real estate is considered a risk. You know, financial institutions is considered a risk. So, you know, if you're a financial consultant, if you are a credit repair, like I'm in credit repair, I have to make sure that the name financial is not part of the name, because it's like a conflict of interest. And 2 is risky. It's like, why lend to you if you're a financial institution? Or why lend to you if you're already investing? So why am I going to lend money to you? So you want to make sure that your name is neutral and it doesn't have the word real estate, or it doesn't have the word financial, or it doesn't have the word credit in it. None of that. Want to make sure that it goes neutral. The solution is to avoid any negative connotation with the name of your company. Additionally, consider having your primary line of business be neutral as well. Following example, you could register your company as a business service company or a business management company rather than a real estate company. Okay, making your company business credit ready. Now that your company is set up, the next step is to prepare the company to be brought to the market. When bringing your company to business credit lenders, the market, you want to complete a compliance matters to avoid getting declined for trivial reasons. For example, make sure that your company has a landline that is dedicated for your business, no cell phone, but a landline. You want to make sure that the phone number you get is local to the area you are doing business in. Then make sure that you list a number with the yellow pages and the 411 directory. Secondly, create a basic online presence for your company. Ideally, purchase the .com for your company. Like you got Malik with Size Matters fitness.com. Mine is budgetcredit360.com. Leon's is connect links to greeklink.com. So those are the websites that you want to make sure that you have for your business. Okay, so also create an email account for the business. I forgot to mention that one. Make sure that you have a business email address. It cannot be a Gmail, a Yahoo, a Hotmail. It cannot be that. It has to be your name, say Javon White at javonwhite.com. Like, it has to be a .com of your business. It can't be a Gmail. Gmail is, for me, I can tell you honestly, if I see somebody in business and they give me a Gmail, it's like, I don't know, I cringe. It's like, hold up, but you're supposed to be in business. How you gonna give me a Gmail account? So you want to make sure that you have that. So lenders feel the same way as I do. It's like, if you're in business, be in business all the way. Okay, so make sure that you have a .com for your business. Okay, it's much more professional this way, and many lenders require such. Okay, lastly, have your paperwork in order. Prepare your article, certificate of formation, your EIN number for your IRS, and operating agreement for your company. These documents will be frequently needed when meeting with bankers and setting up your company to get business credit. If you can also create a business plan, this is helpful, but is not required. Did you know that it's not required to have a business plan for business credit? Business credit is totally different when you're trying to get funding. A lot of people tend to come to me and say, Rose, can you help me get a loan? And the first thing I'm always asking is like, why don't you just build business credit? Then you won't need a loan. Because if you build a business credit line of $50,000, do you need a $50,000 loan? No. A $50,000 loan, a lot of us want that money, all the money up front. Okay, I understand that. You want all the money up front. But if you have a credit line of $50,000, that's accessible to you. And that's always going to be accessible to you as long as you keep that account open. Say for instance, you were given $50,000 and you pay off the $50,000. Now you got to go and apply again for $50,000. But if you have a $50,000 credit line, that's accessible to you as long as you have the account open. You can use $50,000, pay back the $50,000, and then you still have $50,000 you can always tap back into. So it only makes sense to build business credit instead of trying to get a loan, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so build business credit. That is way better than getting a loan. And 2, when you're applying for a loan, say for instance $50,000, you have a standard monthly payment. Your standard monthly payment, you can't go less than that. If your payment is $500 a month, you have to pay $500 a month for X amount of time, and it has to be paid, no less. So say for instance you were short that month and you can only afford to pay $250, then you're going to be late for $250 next month. So now you got to pay $250 plus $500. But when you have a credit card, you only pay back what you borrowed. So if you only use $1,000 that month, you didn't need all of the $50,000. You only use $1,000. Your monthly payment next month would just be $35. You don't have to pay all of the $1,000. If you want to, you can, but you can carry a balance if it's not a charge card. Now, there's a difference between a charge card and a credit card, where it's a revolving balance that you can carry, or if it's a charge card, whatever you use, you have to pay that back, like all in full. You can't carry a balance. That's the difference. I think I have one American Express that's a charge card, which is the gold card. You can't leave a balance on there. If I use $500, next month I have to pay back $500. But then I have the blue American Express card, where if I use $1,000 of it, then I can make the minimum payment, which is $35. So you can use the credit card as leverage. Okay, so that's that. So build the business credit. You'll be in a better position that way, and it won't be so stressful to have to come up with a minimum payment if you had borrowed a loan or borrowed, the loan from the bank. Okay. Network with local banks is vital. That if you're in business that you need to get in contact with a banker, you need to build a relationship with a banker. If you have a credit union near you, get acquainted with the banker at the credit union, because that is going to be your best friend. They're the ones that's going to look out for you, and they're the ones that's going to write off the loans for you or write off credit lines for you or whatever, if you build that relationship. You don't want to be just a number. You want to build a close relationship with a banker or a couple bankers, okay? So local banks have the money to lend. We spoke about this earlier. Many local banks and credit unions offer small business lending products that cater specifically to companies like yours. So start networking with local community banks in your area. If the bank only has 1 or 2 branches, then this is usually the bank you want to build a relationship with, assuming they offer business products like business checking accounts, credit cards, loans, lines of credits. Clarify with the bank their lending mood. Some banks are very conservative right now, and some banks are eager to lend to small businesses, meaning the credit unions, any small banks, they are eager to lend money to small businesses. For one, they need the business. They need the business. They make money. They make money off of lending. So you want to make sure that you build that relationship, because they'll lend to you, especially if you're a small business. So build a relationship with one. Set up your business credit profile. Okay, so next, after you have set up your business, credibly, you want to make sure now you build up the business credit profile. Okay, so the business credit profile is the credit reporting agency. So you know how the personal credit, you have Equifax, you have Experian, and you have TransUnion, right? Those are the top 3. We have about 49 different data reporting agencies, but the top 3 is TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So with business, the top 3 is Duns & Bradstreet, if you ever heard of that, D&B. You have Experian, and then you have Equifax. So those are the 3. You want to make sure that you have established those 3 profiles, because if you don't, and say you jump and apply for business credit, nothing would get reported. So you want to make sure that your activity, your payment history is being recorded. Not having this nothing will get reported. So that's why you want to make sure that you have that. So DNB is a major bureau that monitors and tracks business credit profile. They are similar to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion in the personal credit profile world, except they specifically monitor businesses' credit profile. So you can visit Dun & Bradstreet at iupdate.dnb.com. That's iupdate.dnb, the letter D, the letter N, and the letter B is in boy.com. Or you can give them a call and request a Duns and Brad. So you definitely want to go ahead and call them and get one of those numbers. It's a 9-digit number. Is a business social security number, like I mentioned earlier, assigned by DMB. They offer different packages for their free Duns and Brads to hundreds of dollars. So you want to get the free version. If they try to sell you something, tell them no, you don't want it. You just want the free, because they're going to sell you something. They're going to upsell to you. So tell them no, you don't want it. So get assigned with a Dun and Brad. They offer different packages from their free Duns number to hundreds of dollars. At the end of the day, pick any package that works for you. I usually just go with the free version and expedite the delivery for about $49. But don't expedite the delivery. You don't have to. Just do it regular. And I have never had any issues getting business credit with their Duns and Brad number. Now, for the other two business bureaus that we need to focus on is Experian Small Business, and Equifax Small Business. A profile will be created with them later as a result of getting the trade lines. Okay, so now you need to start building. Now, to get a score, like I mentioned on a personal side, to get the score, you need to have positive accounts reporting. Positive accounts is what boosts your credit score. So many of you that don't have so good, not so good credit, that is fine. It may be a reason why. It's probably because you don't have anything built on it. If there's nothing on there, you have a 0 credit score. Like when people think that getting everything off their credit report is going to get them a high credit score, no. If you got nothing reporting, it leaves nothing to be scored. So that means you have a 0 credit score. So what you have left is a clean slate. So you need to start establishing credibility. It's like establishing friendships. Like I establish friendships with each one of you. I talk to Alton on a daily basis, almost on a daily basis. I talk to Leon, Marlene Robinson, I talk to her on a daily basis. Veronica, that's my best friend. I talk to Malik on text. I give him stuff. Javon, we on Instagram. We chatting it up, sharing funny stuff. Like is a relationship that you're building. A relationship that you're building has to have a goal. What is the goal? The goal is to establish positive relationship. It's either going to be negative or positive. There's no in between. Or you just straddling the fence. But you need to be on the positive or you need to be on the negative. And that is how you're going to be scored. So you need to build as many positive relationships with creditors and lenders as much as you can. The more you have, the better you look. It's just like being popular. I may consider myself popular. I know so many people, and so many people like me. I'm popular. So if anyone want to do a business with me or want to start a relationship with me, they're going to ask my resource. They're going to ask, for references. I have plenty of references. So it's the same concept when you're building credit. You want to have as many references reported about you as much as possible, and good ones too. That is what builds your credit. If we want to use the analogy, street credit. Okay, well, how do you establish street credit? You got to go through a lot to establish street credit. And someone that actually have really, really good street credit, they're considered the type of person that, their word is their bond and they get stuff done. And you better not cross them, or whatever that's going to come right after that is going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to happen, whether it's good or bad. So that's street credibility. So same thing when it comes to bank. When you want to have that, if you want to have access to capital, you want to get approved for whatever you're trying to get approved for, you want to make sure that you're building that relationship. You don't want to burn the bridge. Okay. So I try to make it as simple as possible so that way you guys can understand, because a lot of people, we tend to look at things and we think that there's shortcuts around it. Yeah, there's shortcuts around it, but when I mentioned to you guys, at the end of the day, it's more than just trying to get approved. Is more about getting the best interest rate, the best rate, and the best term. There's no shortcut around that. You got to work for that. Just like you got to work for the trust. You got to work for the trust in your relationships. If you break that trust, it's going to be hard to build that back up. It's the same thing when it comes to credit. There's no shortcuts around it. You want the best, you got to apply yourself and you got to build that. So if you know you can't build it, don't even touch it. I always tell my clients, don't even touch credit if you're not in position to pay back. If your intention is to take and then run off on a plug, it's not going to work out for you. It's not going to work out. It's just going to work out one time for you, and that's it. You know, because these things get noted on your credit report. You got a long rap sheet. It's either going to be good rap sheet or a bad rap sheet. Okay, so now what you need to do is to reach out to these companies that you do business with, paper, office supply companies, gas stations, computer technology companies, and any other stores, and see if they can offer your business credit terms. In the beginning, you want to start small, like the amounts as low as $10 and some as high as $2,000, and ask to be billed on net 30 terms. This means if you buy paper supplies from a company like Quill, for example, you'll receive the product in a few days and you'll need to pay for it in full within 30 days. Essentially, you just bought something on short-term credit in your company name. And as this in writing, Quill reports positive payment history to the business credit bureaus. Let me do the in other words. In other words, if you ever heard like net 15, net 30, net 60, the number 30 or the number right behind net, what that is the amount of days that you have to pay on that invoice. Okay, so if you're going to build credit, you need about 5 of these vendor accounts. So you can get with Uline, you can get with Quill, you can get with so many other vendors that are willing to extend the product to you and pay it back later. Okay, so if you wonder how Walmart does it, I think they have about 50 vendors that they work for. No, not 50, 500, over 500 vendors. So do you think that they purchase anything on the shelf and put it on the shelf? No, everything is invoice. Everything is invoice. This is the reason why I want to get this information to our people, because a lot of us like to start, you know, we want to start our own boutique. We want to sell hair. We want to open up our own grocery store. We want to do these things, but have you ever been to one of our stores and you say, for instance, you want to buy some of that grandma vanilla cookies, and you buy this every day, and then one day it's not on the shelf, and it's like, bro, where's the vanilla cookies? Oh, we'll have a next shipment next week. So now you got to wait a whole week to get this vanilla cookie, and you're so used to eating this every single day, but they don't have it on shelf. Now, if that, for whatever reason, if he didn't have the money to buy the box of cookies to have it available for his customer, because he didn't have the money, how would it have been if he had credit? If he had credit with that vendor, or if he had a credit card, he could have charged it to the card and would have had the product available for his client. So that's the importance of having business credit. You can get it now and pay it back later. Okay, so look at it like that. It's not putting yourself in debt. It's getting the things that you need, and then you can pay it back later. But make sure that you have a plan on how you're going to pay back later. You don't want to just get something and you didn't do any SWOT analysis to see if your clients really need that product. You think that they need the product, but they really didn't. It was just because you think you need it, or you think they need it. You need to know what your clients want, and that way you can supply their needs. Okay. So same concept. So the net 30 accounts is allowing you to pay back the invoice in 30 days. So you can get billed now, get the product, and then you have 30 days to pay it back. And they score you based on when you pay it back. Okay. Now you want to optimize your business credit rating. Okay. So after you purchase your products on the net 30 term, you will start to get some positive credit history reporting on your business. Make it a goal to establish at least 5 trade lines, like I mentioned earlier. 5 trade lines to boost your credit profile. After hitting this mark, your business credit profile will start to get ranked within the system called the Paydex. Okay, so getting a paydex score high enough that banks and lenders are willing to lend to you is the goal. So paydex score ranges from 0 to 100. As I mentioned, so you're being scored on 0 to 100. How personal credit, you're ranged from the lowest credit score you can get is a 300, and the highest you can get is an 850. So paydex score is scored from 0 to 100. 100 being the highest, meaning good, and 0 being the lowest, which is bad. So you want to aim to have 80 or higher. And again, the way they score you is based on when you make your payment. If you make your payment early, like as soon as the invoice come out and you make that payment, you got 100. Now, the later that you make the payment is when you start losing more and more points. So you want to pay it right away, because obviously you're in business, you're making good money. Like I mentioned, you know, you making astronomical amount of money. There's no caps to when you're in business. You can make as much money as you can if you have a team, if you work hard and you're selling. Okay. So, but a 9 to 5, you're only limited to your hourly pay or your salary, or you have money on the side or whatever. Okay. So now next, also start getting store cards and gas cards to optimize and create profiles with experienced small business and Equifax small business. When I say optimize, I mentioned earlier when it comes to your personal credit, diversifying your credit profile, having 21 accounts or more, it makes you look good. It makes them see that you are versatile, and especially if you're making your payments on time and you're not overextending your usage of the credit line, it makes you look good. I like to ask this question. So if you're into stocks and you want to buy a stock and you want to hire a broker to manage your stock, if that broker was to tell you that, oh yes, I'm a stockbroker, and then you ask him how many accounts have he managed or how many portfolios have he managed, and he tells you 2, only 2, so would you believe that he's an expert, or is he not an expert? 2, only managing 2 profiles is not enough experience to me. Now, if he tells me he has managed 100 profiles or 2,000 profiles, I'm not sure how many they can have, but the more the merrier. Versatile you are. So I'm sorry, my mom is calling me. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second, you guys. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so so optimizing your business credit ranking after purchasing products on Net30, you will need to start getting some positive credit history reporting on your credit. Make it a goal to establish 5 trade lines, as I mentioned. Okay, so also start getting the store cards, the gas cards to optimize and create your profile between Experian and Equifax. Now, one of my favorite cards that you guys can get is a commercial revolving account with like Home Depot for business. You can go into the local store and get an account with them. Another one that you can get an account with is Sam's Club. Sam's Club, they're approving people left to right there. So you can definitely look into that. Go into local store and then get an account with them. Read the terms and condition in the fine print to get an idea of the requirements. And then upon approval, after you use the card, Home Depot or Sam's Club or any store, report to all 3 business bureaus with your payment experience. So the whole goal, like I mentioned, is to build that credibility. You need about 5 vendor accounts. You can't jump to a store card or a corporate card like American Express, Chase, and those major credit cards until you first establish the credit score. So it's almost like personal credit. You can't jump to American Express and Chase. I see that a lot when I'm assisting clients with their credit. I'll look at their inquiries and they were trying to apply for Chase and American Express. And listen, American Express do not look at anybody that have late payments, that have collection accounts, that have any that you have to have 0 derogatory. You have to have 3 to 5 years of history, good payment history. You can't have 1 late payment. They are not checking you out. It's almost like, again, I like to use analogies. It's like in high school and you see a group of popular kids, like they part of the football team, the cheerleading team, and they're the most popular people in school. And you want to befriend them, but you're not cool. You're not cool. You're not in that status yet, but you want to go to the party where they're going. So when you're approaching them and they look at you and you're not you don't look the part, you don't fit the their characteristics as, someone that can be part of their clique. You think you're going to get an approval to join their circle? No. So you have to build yourself up to that. You have to build yourself to what a popular kid look like. What do they like to eat? What do they like to listen to? What are those things? It's almost like that when it comes to American Express. They are not checking you out if you do not look the part. So to know if they checked you out is check the mailbox. If you have an invitation from American Express, shout hallelujah, because they've already checked you out and they're considering you as part of as being part of their family. That's the only way. But do not check them out if you do not have yourself together credit wise. You're going to get denied. Chase, very hard to get with. I have a Chase Freedom and Chase Inc. They're not checking you out if you have late payments, collection accounts. They're not checking you out. That when you have made it when you get that invitation in the mail. So that's the same concept to business credit. You don't want to just jump, like just because you have a business, you don't want to just jump and apply for American Express or Chase, hoping that you're going to get approved. I want to help you guys save those inquiries. Do not, you know how scary it is to try to apply and your hands get all sweaty and your heart start beating and you're crossing your fingers hoping to get approved, but it doesn't work like that. If you know what you need to have in place in order for you to get approved, you can save all that anxiety that you're going through. You need to know what you need to have in place. So can't jump to those type of cards unless you have those things in place. Okay. Now, if you do jump to those type of cards to apply for your business, they're going to ask you for your personal credit. And you need to make sure that your personal credit is up to par too. As I already mentioned, you can't have any lates. You can't have any maxed out credit cards. You can't have, you need to at least have 3 to 5 years of history already. You can't be 6 months in. You can't be a year in. There's not enough history. It's not enough data. So they need to see 3 to 5 years of history. So I'm just giving you guys a requirement. So if you want to build up to that status, you got to work for it. There's shortcuts to it where you can hop on someone else's credit that they built. Like I have 9 years. Wait, no, I started soon. I have 8 years of history right now because I started in 2012. I have 8 years of history. If you guys hop on one of my cards with 8 years of history, your score is going to boost. You're going to have all of my history, my on-time payment, my low utilization. You'll have my credit history, my 8 years reporting on yours. So when you go and apply for credit, they see that. One, it boosts your score up because of it. Two, they see that there's a card that's as old as 8 years old. And three, they'll approve you. They'll approve you. So that's the reason why, like, all of us need to get our credit together. Do you know how much power we can come, like, just coming together, we can buy the whole block. Just the 9 of us. We could buy the whole community if we come together with our credit. If our credit was up to par, each of us could have applied for $500,000 with a lender in mind and go and build a community of our own. That's power. Credit is power. When they say cash is king, yeah, cash is king, but credit is power. You can make some power moves if you got some credibility. And like I said, credit is trust. Credit is trust. You already want people to trust you when building a friendship with you or getting into a relationship. Do you know how devastating it is when somebody say they don't trust you? Like, what you mean? Like, I'm the most loyal, I'm the most honest person you can meet, and you don't know me, you got to get to know me. It's the same thing when it comes to the banks. When the banks say no, they're not going to lend to you because your credit profile looks as though that you're not trustworthy, that should hurt. So we just need to start practicing that. We need to practice how to build or what we need to do to build that credibility. And now that you guys are learning a little bit from me, we need to start doing a little better. For those of you that say they don't have so much good credit, but it all depends. Like Malik and who else said? I'm not sure who else said it. Someone else said it. If I look at your credit, I can tell you what you need to do, like straight up. And like I said, there is no such thing as a credit score. It's just a matter of what's being reported on your credit that's accumulating that score. So you need to have good, you need to have some positive accounts on there that's going to actually boost up your credit score. So it's just a matter of knowing what to do or what you need to do. All right, now getting the business credit. Getting the business credit at this stage, you're ready to get business credit. Now, true business credit will not show on your personal credit. There are a few banks, a very small percentage, that still report payment experience to your personal profile and your business credit profile. So try to stay away from those lenders. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, you don't want those lenders that will ask for your personal credit, because if all else fails, it will show up on your personal credit and you'll be liable for it, you know, even though it was for your business. Okay. Oh, you can't see the screen? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, can you guys see? Okay.
Yes.
So okay, thank you, Sharon. So depending on the leg of credit you bring to the table will determine what type of business credit you may qualify for. In the beginning, apply for small business credit cards if you want a no-doc unsecured line of credit. Okay, so if you want to start building, you can start off small. For those of you that may not have a full-fledged business, you can actually build business credit. Even if your personal credit is not together, you can start building it. You can start getting funding in less than 6 months. Because like I said, your credit is only based on when you make your payments. And if you make your payments on time, if you make it early, or if you make it late, is not calculated based on how long you had credit for, like I showed you on a personal credit, or if you use 100% utilization. On a credit card, you can actually max it out and they won't score you on that like they do on your personal credit. Okay, so it's only based on when you make those payments. So you can have 6 months of good payment history and you can start applying for funding. You know, now when you're applying for funding, they only want to see a little bit more, especially if your business is just 6 months old. You may need to put some collateral up, you know, and I'll show you guys scenarios on the next page. Okay, so Depending on the leg that you bring to the table will determine what type of business credit you may qualify for. In the beginning, apply for business credit cards if you want a no-doc unsecured line of credit. Based on your credit needs, you can apply for SBA loans, business loans, and business line of credit. You will want to speak to your branch manager about the approval process and the requirements before applying to make sure your company is ready and will get approved. Again, if you have a relationship with a banker, you can ask them for the approval process, the requirements that you need. You don't want to just go and apply and then have all these inquiries. Always find out what the requirements are before you front your social or before you front your information. You want to find out first, you know. Don't just risk the embarrassment. You know, just make sure that you have everything together, and it's okay to ask them what the process, what's the process and what the requirements are. Okay. Now, if you ever get declined, always have a human, your local branch manager, take a second look and make the recommendation to underwriting to approve the application. Again, the reason why you want to build a relationship with the banker, because if you know someone, you can tell them, hey, take a second look, and then they can make those recommendations for you for underwriting to approve your application. So you can make that, you can request that if you know somebody, you know. So instead of being that number, build a relationship. You don't want to just be a number, you know, where they don't even know your name. Okay. So now there are a few different types of credit options. You got business credit cards. Most do not require any documents other than a two-page application. Okay. They are unsecured and require the applicant to have a good business credit profile and a good personal credit. They will not show on your personal credit provided you always pay on time. Okay, so that's business credit cards. Unsecured meaning that you didn't have to secure it with your own money. Unsecured is when they give you their money to actually use. Okay, that's unsecured, the difference between the two. All right, business credit cards, they don't ask you for any income. They don't ask you for proof of anything. Like, they don't ask for any of those things, which is why I always say, why don't you just get a business credit card instead of trying to get a loan? Because if you're trying to get a loan, and I'll show you on the other parts, when you're trying to get a loan, you have to provide all that information, okay? Because you're asking for a lump sum of money up front, okay? Now, unsecured lines of credit and secured lines of credit, rarely you will find a no-doc type of application, but most require a personal financial statement and additional documents, including tax returns in some cases. They can be secured or unsecured and require the applicant to have good business credit profile. When providing additional documentations to the bank, for example, financial statements, the bank has a more complete picture of who you are as a business owner and who your company is as a business entity. As a result, personal credit scores are not as important. Usually will not show up on your personal credit report unless you default, like I mentioned. Sometimes a UCC filing is filed against your business, which will avoid you getting too many lines of credit per company. Oh, as a matter of fact, when mentioning per company, did you know if you have 5 businesses, and I'm just saying businesses as loosely, just businesses. It don't have to be a running business. It doesn't have to be a brick and mortar. It doesn't have to be just a business. You can actually build business credit for each of those businesses. So you can have, say for instance, I own Javon White LLC, Malik LLC, Alton LLC, Veronica LLC. That's 4 companies I own. I can build business credit on each of them, and that is giving me leverage on 4 businesses. So if each businesses carry $100,000, that's $400,000 between 4 businesses. So when we're looking at business, it's not a brick and mortar and, you know, where your business located, where people can go in. You can actually have business names and build. Just as I mentioned, you just need 5 vendor accounts reporting minimum, and then you start building up the store cards, and then you can start applying for business credit. That's the steps that you have to take. Just make sure that your business is all the way set up, as I mentioned earlier, have a virtual address, website, and things like that. You can build that up. people actually build these things up. Like they build these businesses up, build it up with business credit, and turn around and sell it. Because some people just want to just get up and running. So if you've already built it, this is what it's called, shelf corporation. A shelf corporation is just that. It's a corporation that was built and it was put on the shelf. It was built and put on a shelf for later. It's seasoned with a good 2 years, 3 years, 25 years. So people actually buy these shelf corporations with the season history to it. And with that, it already comes, you know, with I wouldn't say experience, but it already comes seasoned. It's already coming with some history. So you can actually request for funding for those. People sell those. I sell those, if you guys want to know. And you can actually get a business that's already been built, so you don't have to build a business and wait 6 months or wait to a year and go from there. Buy a business that already has 3 years of history and start building from there. People do that. Okay. Just to throw that out there and side note. Where am I? Okay, okay, so small business loans. When you're looking for a loan, it's going to require tax returns, business and personal. It's going to require your personal financial statement and possibly other documents. It can be secured or unsecured. Personal credit score of the applicant is checked, but a great personal credit is not always required. Does not usually show up on a personal credit if you get the loan. It provided you pay on time. If you get an SBA loan, you can get a fair amount of money for expanding your business, purchasing inventory, equipment, etc. This is a tremendous advantage of the SBA loan because the SBA actually backs your loan, and the bank lending, the money is only putting a small percentage of their money at risk, SBA guaranteeing the rest. As a result, many new businesses can get significant approvals that they normally would not qualify for. The only disadvantage of SBA loans is that they are very paperwork heavy, but they are well worth it in the end due to the advantage mentioned above. So, like I said, I come to the conclusion that it's much better if you just build the business credit than to try to get the loan. A lot of people do need the loan right away, especially if you're selling products and you need products to, to add to your inventory and things like that. I understand why you need the loan. You really don't have the time to build up the business credit. So, but I always say business credit goes a long way, Okay. So next, we have had a lot of recent approvals. I got a lot of recent approvals to share. So now, recent approvals. First case, Robert K. Robert got $65,000 in business credit in only 41 days and did a case study with proof of approvals. For those that would like to see, this is one of my mentors. 65K of business credit in only 41 days. Proof the business credit is comprised of unsecured, no doc business credit cards and includes $25,000 of unsecured business line of credit, also no doc. The approvals were $15,000 business credit card from Wells Fargo, $25,000 business line of credit from Sun National Bank, $15,000 business credit card from Provident Bank, and $10,000 from Investors Bank. They called the phase 1 of business credit funding, and a few months later, Rob came back and got him pre-approved for another $65,000 in phase 2 funding, consisting of business credit cards through some national banks and some local banks that lenders to all 50 states. Now, we have a program where if you have all these things set up, I can get you funding with, like, say for instance, you're trying to get in, and I think I had a client, her name is Yvette. She's in the Mastermind and Mimosas. I did her pre-approval, and she got pre-approved for $100,000. She's getting $75,000 of business credit and $25,000 of a loan. So $25,000 in loan, $75,000 of business credit, in total $100,000. If you have good personal credit like she does, and you make an income of $50,000 or more, I can get you $100,000 in funding. I can get you $100,000. I can get you $100,000 up to $250,000 if your credit is above 680 and up, and you make $50,000 a year. You can actually get some money. You know, it will come in a mix of credit cards, and it will come in a mix of a loan. And then you can do what you want. And then you can always come back and get another $100,000 or another $150,000 or another $250,000. You can. And believe it or not, the more debt you have, good debt, the more good debt you have, they actually give you more debt. Well, more credit. I wouldn't say more debt, more credit. You can get approved because now those things are becoming assets. You know, they're becoming assets. It's collateral. So it looks good. The lenders like to see that someone has trusted you with that amount of money. If you don't have that reporting on your credit, then it'll be hard for them to try to match that. They're going to give you as much as they're willing to risk. So if you only have a $500 card reporting on your credit, and then you're trying to get funding or you're trying to get another credit card, they're only going to match what they see going on your credit. So if you have a 500, they may give you 750, or they may give you another 500, or they may give you 1,000, but they're not just going to straight up give you 25,000. You have to work your way up to that. So you can hop on someone's credit card that have a $10,000 limit on it, a $20,000 limit on it. If it reports on your credit, then they'll pretty much match what's going on, because what creditors like to do is compete for the first spot. So if there's a $10,000 reporting on your credit, which I do have those, anybody that's trying to build credit, I have access to those credit lines, where you can have those things reported on your credit report, and it's just a small fee of $150. Is your own credit line. You can get 2 of those. You got $10,000 reporting, and then when it's ready for you to start applying, they'll match what you got going on. So if you go to Capital One and they see that you have 2 $5,000 on your credit report, they're gonna match that. Same thing. My boyfriend, he had a bankruptcy, believe it or not, and I kept telling him, hop on my card, just hop on my card. It was a $7,000 limit on it. I said, hop on my card and just be on it. And he was afraid because he didn't understand what the process was. He I had to tell him 7 times. So he finally got on. And when he got on, I told him, just leave it on there, let it season for a good 3 months, and then go and apply for your own credit. And he did. He went and applied for his own credit with Capital One. They approved him for a Capital One Venture card because he likes to travel. Capital One Venture card, $10,000 limit, the max that they give you. So if you know anybody that have good credit, you can piggyback off of them. It won't hurt them, and you can tell them that don't give you the credit card. You just want all of the data, because the data is what creditors look for. You know, the score is just to let them know, off the top what type of borrower you are. That's all. But they got to look at your credit report. They got to see some good positive payment history and things like that. They have to see that in order for them to trust. It's the same thing. If you put yourself in the banker's shoe, if I come to you and I say I want to borrow money from you, you're going to ask all my references before you give me money. You're not just going to trust me. You don't know me like that. You don't know me from a can of paint. So you're not going to trust me with a large lump sum of money off the rip. You may start me off with $10 and see, okay, here's $10, Rose. I want to see how well you do with that and how soon you pay me back. And then if I pay you back soon, and then I ask you for another round of money, you're going to trust me a little bit more. You're going to trust me with $50. Okay, let me see how well you do with that. And I pay you back $50, you're going to increase, and increase. That's how you build up your credit profile. It's all in the increases. I started off with 2 $500 cards of my own money that I had to put in because my credit wasn't so good. So I had to front my own money to build it. So I graduated to an unsecured card. And then when I read this book that's called How to Build Millionaire Credit. I read that book and I applied what I read, and I built up my credit line from my own money to now $80,000 of accessible credit of my own money, from my own money. And now I graduated to unsecured. So it's just a matter of, how to build millionaire credit. So it's all a matter of building, and building is just building the trust. That's all you're doing. You're showing how well you manage your own money, and you're just building up from that. Okay. So the beauty of this type of lending is that Rob now has $65,000 in unsecured business credit that does not show on his personal credit, and he can pull from the lines of credit and repay them at any time. In fact, by doing this, he greatly increases the odds of getting limit increases within 6 months of getting the lines. So if you're just starting out in business or prefer not to show tax returns, then business credit cards is the best way to start. Okay. Next, we can look at Jen. Jen received $131,000 in business line of credit collateralized by an asset. An asset can be cash, it can be a retirement savings, it can be a real estate property. In this instant, it's a non-owner occupied multifamily property used as collateral. Their income and their credit score was not as important here because they brought collateral to the table for the lender. A big advantage of this type of line of credit is that it is not a home equity line of credit, it's a business line of credit secured by an asset. This keeps it separate from your personal credit. They use this line of credit to purchase, rehab, and sell real estate property for a profit. You see that? So if you want to get into real estate, you can actually put in your asset to help, to kind of match the line of credit that you want to get. So if you have asset already, you can use that to build up your business credit. This is using it by collateralizing, to get your credit line. All right. So next, you got Michelle. Michelle has a business that needed a fixed business loan. As with many of the clients, she applied to banks before and got turned down. One big advantage of working with me or us is that we introduced her to the right point of contact at the bank that has the authority and know-how to get applications approved where other bankers may have failed. Now, the difference between, coming to me where I have private brokers and then going to the bank, you're just a number. Credit unions is one of the best, like small banks, not major banks like Chase. Don't go in there. Don't go to Wells Fargo and those places. You're just a number. But if you go to small brokers have access to private lenders. Private lenders have totally different requirements and restrictions. So it's not as like how the major banks do. So we can work something out and get it over to an underwriter, and the underwriter would just take what we say and then approve you. Whereas if you go to a major bank, it's basically what's on the application and they use that and that's it. You either approve or deny. Okay, so Michelle got $50,000 approval with SBA within 48 hours of applying. Although the paperwork was extensive, she was able to get approved for more than any other banks would have offered with a traditional bank business loan. She would use the money to fund her business expansion, and I'm sure she would turn that small loan into a significant amount of revenue. Now, I want to cover one more. Now, the one more is Asward. Fast forward a few months, we also approved for $25,000 in unsecured business credit cards within a few weeks, got an additional $50,000 with the technique we taught Asward. There is no limit to how much money he can obtain. Now, if you do not have good personal credit, you can still get approved for business credit. There are 3 steps. You pull your credit with your favorite mortgage broker or online service and ask for a credit analyzer to be performed. The credit analyzer will look at your credit report and determine what needs to be adjusted to increase your credit score dramatically. I can do that. Okay. I have done analyzers. And I can tell you what you need to do to increase your score. That's the whole purpose of going to like a credit expert. Some credit experts, people that just do credit repair, they just do credit repair. I do credit restoration, which I help you restore your credibility. So I can look at your credit and I can tell you what you need to do. And if you do it, you will see the result. Veronica would tell you, she'd been working with me and she finally applied what I told her to do and she saw her score increase. Right, Veronica? I don't know if you're in here, but yes. But when I tell clients, these are the things that you need to do so that way you can see an increase in your score, you need to do them. Like I mentioned, whatever that's reporting on your credit is what's producing the score. Positive accounts is what boosts your score. So if you don't have any of those things going on, or say for instance, you have one positive account, but then you have 10 negatives, then you need a good 18 accounts to balance, to kind of balance out the 10 negatives that you got plus some. So you need double. You need double the negative accounts or double the positive accounts to outweigh the negative accounts that you have reporting. So you need to reduce the negative accounts and then increase the positive accounts. In other words, so it's the positive accounts. It's like if you want to get a 4.0 grade point average, can you get a 4.0 grade point average if you have F's and D's and C's on your credit report or on your report card? No, you need to have no B's. Well, you can probably have a 1B, but you can't have no B's, no C's, no D's, no F's if you want a perfect 4.0. Okay, so it's the same concept with your credit report. You want to have no negatives if you want to hit that 720 and above. No negatives, no lates. Okay, so those are the things that you want to report on your credit report if you want to increase your credit score. You need to add positive accounts, reduce the negatives. Okay. And that's about it. That's about it. That's about it. Do you guys have any questions? How many of you guys have started building your business credit? I want to see who has. Anyone? Questions?
I have not yet. I'm trying to get myself in place.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sharon, for taking notes. I see you were taking notes. It's a good one. Good notes. Thank you. Okay, I have questions. I see questions. All right, hold on.
How do we get a consultation with you?
You can go to my website, budgetcredit360.com or yourcreditgoddess.com. Let me type it. Let me type it in here. My consultations are free, so don't worry. You don't gotta pay out of them. Oops. Oh, wrong one. I'm so used to typing goddess. That's not it. Okay.
But I will put a plug for you, Miss Rosler. I said that I applied what you told me last year. We had our little start, and my credit went from 5 something to like 630 in 3 months. So, so I'm like, I'm moving up.
Yes, good job. Good job. That's my cousin. She came to me and she asked me what I needed to do, what she needed to do, and she's applying it. She's applying it. So it's just a matter of just doing the work. Like I tend to get like this. I'm very transparent because what I see all over the internet and I see what's being promoted out there about credit. We can do this and we can do that. We can take this off. We can. What they're marketing. If you guys understand marketing is the goal is to get to the consumer emotionally. So if they can find your pain point and they sell you your pain, you're going to be attracted to it because you want a solution. So with marketing, they focus on how they're going to get to their clientele. Like, how are they going to get their clientele to just holler and say, I need your help. So a lot of times you will see when it comes to credit where they pitching the fact that they can remove this, they can remove that, they can do this, they can do that. But when I realized no one actually educate the clients, And then when I talk to the clients, half of the time they don't even really care about the education. They really don't. They just want what they want, which is the solution that everybody else is pitching, is remove student loans, remove child support, remove debt, remove this. But guess what? I'm just going to tell you guys this. Anything within 2 years of your credit report, anything within 2 years of your credit is what's factoring into your score. So if you have debts that are over 2 years old, it is not affecting you anymore. It already did its damage the first time that it hit your credit score. That first late payment that you made or didn't make, that would set you back 6 to 9 months. What that means is that the very first hit, it was major because it hit. That was negative. And then as it gets older and older and older, it no longer has the effect that it did when it first hit. So as it gets older, is old. It's almost like cheating boyfriend, cheating girlfriend, cheating wife, cheating husband, right? So the moment that they cheated on you, yes, it hurts big time, right? But as it gets older and then they're showing that, you know, that they're redeeming themselves, they're becoming, you know, trustworthy, they're showing that they're working on it, they're showing that they're remorseful for what they've done, then the trust starts building back up. But if it's an occasional thing, like if it's a reoccurring offense, then sometimes there's no turning back from that. It's like, trust is gone. You might as well just pack your bags and go. So it's like that. So when it comes to your credit, anything that just hit your credit that moment, it hits it, it already did its damage. Now is a matter of just how old it gets. So anything over 2 years old is no longer factoring your score. It's anything within 2 years. So payment history, good payment history, bad payment history, collection accounts, whatever, same thing. Anything within 2 years is what's affecting your score. Now, what you need to be doing within that time is rebuilding, redeeming yourself. You need to start showing that you can make your payments on time. So it's just a matter of acquiring, like getting a credit card and start making those payments. Because once they start seeing that, what creditors like to see, okay, I see about your past, but who are you right now? What are you doing today? How well are you managing your debt right now? They want to see that, and they want to see how long. Because the longer you are practicing that is your habit. What they say, a habit takes 33 days to create. You create a habit in 33 days. So if you're trying to get in the habit of exercising, you're not just going to be a daily exerciser in 5 days. It's going to take some time, which is why it's always a constant push to get into shape. It's not automatic. Once you've hit 33 days, it's become your lifestyle. It's become a habit, and there's no excuses after that. This is what you're going to do every single day. This is who you are. But any time between the first day and 33 days is a constant battle. So you need constant motivation. So it's the same thing when it comes to credit. Well, credit, it updates every 30 days. So you just need to make sure every 30 days you're doing the same thing. Pay your bills on time. Make sure that you're not maxing out on your credit cards. And that's all. So when people are pitching that they can remove these things, it's like, okay, if I remove everything off your credit, you are down to a 0 credit score because there's nothing to score. So when people are pitching that they can remove this and they can remove that and it's going to boost your score up to 100 points, no. It may boost your score up to 100 points if you have positive accounts already on your credit. Which is why I always tell clients, when they come to me and they ask me for pricing, I tell them, I need to see your credit report so I can determine what you need. I can't tell you this is the price because everyone is different. Everyone's credit profile is different. And then too, I don't like to make promises of removing certain things off your credit because, again, everyone's relationship with their creditor is different. It could have been a fresh breakup. I can't fix that. I'm going to tell you, you need to go over there and you need to work something out. If this breakup was fresh, like 3 months ago, you haven't made your payment, I'm going to tell you, you need to go over there and make your payment to them. So that way it doesn't go into charge-off status and collection status. That takes about 6 to 9 months. So you're 3 months in. I'm not gonna try to remove that. No, you're gonna turn around and get yourself sued. So there's certain things like that people that's in this business are only focused on making money, but they don't tell you what the repercussion would be if they were to take that particular step. I don't like to have my clients take me to the point where I'm going to file identity theft on your accounts just to come off in 30 to 45 days, like most of these people promise. You cannot remove anything in 30 to 45 days unless it's unverifiable, if it's incomplete or inaccurate. But if it's an accurate account, if it's an actual debt with your name on it 3 months ago, I can't promise to take that off. I can't. I'll be lying if I turn around and use the form to claim that you're a victim of identity theft just to make you happy. I'm not that type of person. I like to run an honest business, and I'm just telling you, like, just to uncover some of these things that's going on out there, which is why CFPB, which is the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, why they out here shutting these people down. Because for one, they don't educate people. They're just in it. I don't want to say they're just in it for the money, but it seems like it, because if you're not going to educate your clients so that way they can make their sound decision to work with you, then you're not in business for the best interest of the client. That's just my opinion. And a lot of us tend to get into this business because, of course, we want to make our own money. We want to be successful, but be honest about it. You know, a lot of us are not running successful businesses like we should, because we just get in it just for, you know, the benefits of making money and not looking at it on the long term. I'm in it for the long run. Like, this is my thing. Like, I think this is my calling, because I love to educate people. I love to talk about money. Financial literacy is my thing. I love to educate our people, because I want to see our people flourish in this arena. Like, we need to get on the level with these Chinese folks and these Spanish folks and these Jewish folks. They're doing this together, so we can too. We shouldn't be at the end of the 8 ball. We should be head. It doesn't make any sense that collectively, us as Black people, and I think it's about 23% of us in the United States, 23%, I think we make up 23% or maybe less, but for us to spend, we have a spending power of over $1 trillion, but we have nothing to show for it. And I don't want to say we don't have anything to show for it, because I mean, that we don't want to have anything to show. We want to have something to show for it, but we need to start putting money towards assets than liabilities. You know, like we're the biggest consumer. The Arabs, the Chinese, the Jewish people, they bet on us that we are going to buy from them. They bet on us. That's why they pop up in these corner stores in our neighborhoods. They bet that we're going to buy from them. But if we can't even, we have to be in position to do the same thing too. We can open up shop in our own community and sell to one another, if we understand what we need to have in place to do that, and if we want it. You know, so it is, I think sometimes I feel that we're just trying to catch up, or trying to live in, or trying to live up to expectations that our family set. Like me growing up, what we were taught was, you know, graduate from school, go to college, and you know, raise a family. But well, not in my household. My mom came straight from Haiti, and my dad, they came straight from Haiti, and they opened up shop. They had an American friend. She was an English teacher at a high school, and they became friends with her. And you know, she saw their talent, because my mom sewed for her. She saw the talent, and she helped them start their own business. I mean, she got them all the way set up, got their brick and mortar over on 135th Street and 7th Avenue in Miami, and called it Tata's Family Fashion. My mom made the women's clothes, and my dad made the men's clothes. And I was in the shop. I saw all of that. I saw how they ran their operation. I saw how they worked together. So I came from an entrepreneur household. So I've seen that myself. So when I see that we can do the same thing too, if we just focus on what our goals are, and what is it that we want to set, then we can start putting these things together. Man and woman can work together. I don't care if they tell you they can't. A lot of you guys that are still on the line, I work with you guys. Leon, Malik, Al, I reach out to you guys because I said, men are executors. You guys can execute. Women are good at being supportive. I'm a big supporter. I'm very resourceful. So if I see that you guys are trying to start something, I'm going to be there in position to help you see it through. Women, we need to get in that position too. We need to become resourceful. Even don't look at it one-sided where you only looking for things for you, but try to be knowledgeable in everything that you do, just in case you run into someone, you can help that next person. The information that I share with you guys, half of that stuff I don't even use for myself. But if I see that you need it, I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you. I want to be as resourceful. It's important that we become resourceful in our own community, so that way we can see each other grow. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever that is that you want to accomplish, whatever goal that you want to set, whatever change that you want to see in your community, we can make that change if we just come together. And like I always tell them, coming from a financial standpoint, our 9-to-5 money is not going to get us to where we want to be when it comes to building up an empire. You can. It's going to take some years, but if you can have access to capital right now, you can get started on your hopes and dreams and goals right now. Why wait? Why wait? So it's just important that we get our business together, get your credit together, because credit at the end of the day is trust. It's not about that 3-digit number. It's about trust. It's about applying what I just taught you guys. It's about applying it and building yourself up. You as an entity, you as a person, you as a business, and all the other 20 businesses you want to start. Just having those businesses in place can increase your leverage. Increase your leverage. If you guys have, they continuously build down here in South Florida. And if you ever see like a skyscraper being built and you see these guys in like dress shirt and dress pants and a hard hat, and there's about 5 of them looking up at the skyscraper, you know who they are. They're developers, and these are different men came together with their resources, their investors, their credit to build this skyscraper to turn around and make a profit off of. They come together. They come together. And I know a reason why a lot of times we don't come together too, because we don't trust each other, for one. We don't trust each other. But if we have an attorney, and I know a couple of attorneys, I went to school with, we can have them draw up a contract. As long as we know what our deal is in the deal in itself and what we're expected to get out of it, that's all we need in place. We can't trust each other by our word, because when money is involved, it gets funny. We get funny when money is involved. So we can't even count on each other's word. But if we know what we plan to do, we put that on paper, we get an attorney to draw it up, and we sign it, then we get to work. And then we see it through, and then we make our profits. That's all we need to do. Just get under contract. Whatever it is that you want to start, whatever business you want to start with each other, just get under contract. Get it under contract. Don't go by someone's word. And it's not just us, it's anybody. When money is involved, people start acting funny. And this is white folks do it, because you hear it in these shows all the time. When they know that you got an insurance policy of $500,000 or $2 million, oh man, a plot comes up, or they start plotting so they can cash in on that insurance money. This is humans. If that money is going to make you do that, they'll do it by any means. So why should we bet it on each other as far as like word? Because again, when money is involved, we start acting funny. So let's put things on contract. If we're going to work together, put things on contract, have an agreement, mutual agreement, and we can do some business. We can move some stuff. But it's important that we have our credit together, though. That's important, because if we're short on anything, especially if those that's interested in doing fix and flips, if you don't want to just count on your money, You know, if you have to come up with the closing costs, or if you have to come up with the building material or the rehab material, and you short on funds, if you have a credit card, charge it to the game. Build up that, fix it up, flip it. The profits can turn around and pay for what you have used on that credit card. And rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. You don't have to wait if you have a credit line of $100,000. Just charge it to the card. You got 2 months. You got two months to fix and flip, profit, pay it off, rinse and repeat. You don't have to get a loan. You don't have to do any of that. You got credit cards. That's the purpose of it. So I can talk all day. So any of you guys have any other questions?
No.
No? Okay. Have any of you guys started business credit? You can press 1 if you have, or no, 2 if you haven't. You can build business credit while you're working on your personal. You can. If you didn't know. But you definitely do want to work on your personal credit. Okay, so if we have nothing else, I'm gonna put a checklist for you guys together. For those of you that wants to start building, I'll put a checklist together for you guys so you guys can start building. And anyone that wants me to look at their personal credit, I'll be more than happy to look at your personal credit for free and tell you exactly what you need to do. I have access to over $40,000 of credit lines that you can use to start building. Yeah, to start building. Your credit is guaranteed.